Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Ian Lodine, golf coach and performance specialist. Ian works with golfers to help them improve their game through structured coaching, focusing on technique, consistency, and building systems that lead to real progress. His approach highlights something that applies beyond sport, that improvement comes from clarity, structure, and consistent execution. Ian, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, as am I. It's been a long time coming and it's a pleasure speaking with you finally. Ian, with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning of their journey. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you were doing before you jumped into the coaching world, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Yeah. Look, I suppose it stems from literally a family of golfers. So like my dad was a golfing nut. If he didn't play, he'd be watching it. If he wasn't watching it, he'd be reading about it. If he wasn't reading about it, he'd be dreaming about it. As soon as I could walk, he was like, there you go, son, there's a golf club. So yeah, it's great. He's actually from the Stornoway, which was from the Isles right at the north of Scotland. Remote golf. And he even said, unfortunately, passed away just as I was getting into my online coaching. But he did say at the time, he was like, oh, if only this was around when I was living over in Lewis. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, destined really to be in golf. I had a life, traveled around the world, lived in Australia, New Zealand as well. And then, yeah, I mean, it was one of those ones where you have to think about what you're going to do or when you grow up. And yeah, I basically always wanted to be in golf. Now, don't get me wrong, I got good. I was a +1. I did represent the country once, but I realized very early on, and I had people around me, that I wasn't the level to make it on tour, let's say. So actually, like I mean, I had a brother for 6 years who tried to make it on tour. I saw that and I was like, oh, that looks tough. Looks really tough going. So I actually very quickly in my mind was like, okay, so playing on tour is not something that's going to go. So what else could I do? Well, as an amateur, we had a head professional who's doing well. He had employees. It looked like a good life. And I thought, yeah, I like that. He interacts. He's moving around lots. That sounds great. So I literally, when thinking about where we were going to go, Edinburgh is the best place for golf. Literally, it's, apart from obviously St Andrews, which everybody hears about, within Edinburgh City Centre, I just told you a moment ago that there's 44 golf courses within a 10-mile radius. So I was like, if I'm going to literally just cut into this industry, I'm going to do it here. So I just literally called up all 44 golf courses saying, hey, look, have you got a job? Got wind of one, persuaded a guy basically to take me on. And he did. So yeah, progressed in towards at least getting into a golf club, which was amazing at Murrayfield. I'm still good buddies with the guys there as well. But I still wanted that goal to be a head pro. I achieved it within 7 years. I did some interviews after 5, got being a head professional at one place, realized it wasn't ideal and how I wanted it. So I moved to another place. And then COVID kicked in and I just reassessing. I always coached golf no matter what since 2011. So it was always a big part of my income, always 50%. So then actually, honestly, it was the easiest decision in my life. Once I actually listed all the things that I had skills for, and then I looked at what's driving the most revenue and actually what gave me the most enjoyment, which was coaching. Thankfully, that also gave me the most revenue as well. So it's like anything. I was like, maximum enjoyment gave me the most revenue. Let's go down this route. So then I literally handed my notice in, being a head professional. And I was like, I even said to my wife, I will find a job and I will make it work. So it's pretty scary to have a job like that and then hand a notice in and then go, I'll just do something else. I'm sure I can. So yeah, and what I'm basically doing now is I'm coaching golfers worldwide, which is awesome.
Yeah, cool stuff. Really cool stuff. And as you
Yeah.
say, like even what you started off saying about your dad, again, apologies for your loss, but
Sure.
naturally part of the modern world is you can take golf anywhere. And it is one of those
Yeah.
sports because it is so technical. Like working online is such a beautiful way to do it because you can analyze people in such a great way. And I know we was touching beforehand before we start recording, obviously my background in sports as well. So when you do find something you love and you can just keep doing that forever, whether you are teaching it, taking part yourself, either way, you're going to feel with such fulfillment. And I feel like that kind of beams from you whenever you speak about golf as well. So that's a really cool aspect.
Yeah.
And then naturally, so let's dive into that a little bit more, just so the listener can have some context moving forward. So I know you mentioned there are golfers all over the world, but who would you say is your favorite kind of person to coach? Who is your ideal customer? And then from there, how would you help them? And what is your kind of style or approach when you are working with your clients?
Yeah. Obviously, that's a huge part of things to talk about. But yeah, ideal customer. Yeah, for me, actually, I love the eclectic mix of people I coach. Like,
Cool.
Genuinely, like, do I always want to have someone who's on tour? To be honest with you, no. Like, I do enjoy teaching professionals as well, but I love the variance of people. So I've got people who literally, and online, who barely have played golf. And I've got
Wow.
people who are professionals online as well. So that is literally at each end of the spectrum. And it's amazing. And literally just before this, I got a message from a guy called Dean in the Philippines. He went out to the golf course. He had a 2-day trip. He played golf on the golf course, and we do interact quite a lot. And he just played great. He did some really good stuff. He did all the things that we talked about. Still showed huge signs of progress to be able to reduce the scores even more. But the guy's happy and exactly what we wanted. And then so that's awesome feedback. As the coach, like, how cool is that? Yeah, and then so like he's over in the Philippines, I'm in Scotland, which is awesome. So I'm able to do that, and I'm able to connect. And actually, I've learned all the skills from playing golf since I was 3. Now, yes, since 2011, I've done it professionally. But each year I've got this thing about I'll spend minimum 2,000 a year on knowledge just to improve myself. Do that, and then obviously everybody who gets learned from me will learn from those new techniques or improvements. And so just to go in a little bit towards what I was saying before, so I coached in person, got good at it, was running a tour academy at a time for basically a tour coach who was out there on the circuit. And then the online world kicked in. My wife then became a midwife. And I realized that to provide for the children in a sense of like doing a school run, I needed more flexibility. So then I was
Yeah.
like, actually, I've already cut a little bit into online. If I drop the tour academy and then I go fully online, and I still do some in person, don't get me wrong, and thankfully trajectory was like that. But as soon as I made the decision and went all out, then obviously the
Yeah.
trajectory thankfully went well. So then suddenly I'm now 9,000 online lessons, which is awesome. I've connected with now 58 countries worldwide. And looking at just a variety of things, YouTube literally has just gone crazy just recently. I think it's like the 1.9 million reach I've had over in the last fortnight as well, which is brilliant.
That is really cool. Yeah, and that's awesome stuff. So as you say, moving online really gave you that freedom and like flexibility in your life, but
Yeah,
allowed you to keep doing what you want. And even going back to the story you're saying there about Dan in the Philippines, like you're just bringing enjoyment through golf to other people, which must fill you again with such joy to know that some people
yeah,
are loving the same sport that you have your whole life, which is a really cool
exactly.
aspect. Whether they're like top pros or they're just doing it for fun, when
Yeah,
you crack that skill, because I know golf is so hard as well. Like I've tried to play several times myself.
yeah.
I haven't got the skill to do it because it is
No,
something through. Oh,
you've been professional. You can do it. You just got to
we'll
learn
talk
and
about
and
that later.
have someone you bounce off. Obviously, that's the
Yeah,
really cool part.
awesome stuff. We'll talk about that later. Maybe we can get
Yeah,
some
yeah,
lessons
exactly.
going.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, and as you say, online is a beautiful way to do that. So really leaning into the modern world and moving forward
yeah,
from there. So I suppose how is it you help people? What is kind of stuff? How is it you go about doing the programs or the courses? What is it like to work with you?
yeah. So it's all via Skillest. Now,
Okay, cool.
Skill EST. Now, so that is actually the biggest platform for online golf coaching. And then so they do other types of training from swimming to cricket and loads of other things as well on there. But golf specifically is huge. Now, I've been top 6 in the world now on the platform for the last 3.5 years, which has been awesome. So actually the reach is incredible. And the way it kind of goes out is that when somebody first gets in contact, I'll do the initial analysis, or some people like to do a consultation, which is usually over like 10, 15 minutes, like a way to introduce, say hello, get the sort of vibes, do you like me type thing, or do I like them? And at the same time, then from there, with the analysis, I make a plan. I'll see what is good, what is needing to be improved on. I'll always word it in the nicest possible way. And then so people realistically, and I've heard this before, they know that I care about them in their game. And then so I
Yeah.
map out usually about 3 to 4 months worth of things that we'll work on. And then beyond there, we'll continue it on to that. I've taught now people online for over 3 years, and more people are ticking over that 2, 3 year mark as well.
Yeah, cool stuff. So you're very much like, I would suppose in the business terms, I was like getting in the trenches with your clients, but you're
Yeah,
providing a very custom approach, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
And obviously moving on from there and helping with any nuances going forward. It's a
definitely.
really cool approach. And I know you mentioned previously, obviously YouTube is becoming like a big asset for you within the business, like reaching, was it 1.3 mil, you said?
1.9.
One point, like even more, 1.9.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big audience you've got there. So is that one of your main drivers when it comes to obviously like marketing yourself and acquiring those right kind of customers?
So honestly, I would say that's actually really of late. I've only really been driving that. So in terms of that one there, so yeah, the classic one, like I used to always just work on Instagram, but now I've moved in towards Facebook and
Nice.
YouTube. And I also have thousands on my Skillest community as well. Now my subscribers will get their own subscriber chat, which is great. So I love that. I've got amazing people I connected around the world, and people who aren't even subscribed. Like I still have amazing conversations with them as well. And socially, I've actually last year I met up with 5 people who came to Scotland and we played a game of golf, which is awesome.
No.
So that was cool. So someone flew in from Dubai, New Zealand, America. Yeah, it's so cool. And I've got someone, Tuna from Namibia, next year. We're going to play golf together as well.
Love it. Nice. So you have your own little community as well, where I suppose they
Yeah,
get to know what it's like to work with you, and then naturally you can share that experience with them on the course as well when the time comes. That's a really cool
yeah,
aspect. And obviously utilizing social media is a great to get seen and heard in such a busy world at the moment. So just
yeah.
being on top of all that, that's a really cool stuff. And I suppose, Ian, like what are your like visions or ambitions for the coaching company moving forward when you think of maybe the next 6 to 12 months ahead? Like what are those goals or those milestones that you're hopefully looking forward to achieving?
Yeah, I suppose there's tons of milestones. There's a junior who is in Pakistan. I've taught for the last 3 years. He hopefully he's doing great. He's absolutely smashing all the goals, which has been brilliant. Father and son, absolutely wonderful kind of team with myself. And he will be representing Pakistan, hopefully coming to Scotland, which would be awesome. And that will be a huge thing to be able to do. So again, that will be a huge tick. But in terms of outside of say that, there will be aspects within what I'd like to do in terms of monetizing certain areas. Yeah, I've linked with some amazing companies worldwide, which is absolutely awesome. It's the hat, for instance, is Bonk in America. There's so many different ones, Castor, Spawnia, trying to see if I can remember Vice Golf, all these sort of different ones there. Apologies if I'm not set out for the other ones. Yeah, but it's like I've been ambassador for low different ones. And in terms of that one there, like I find that I love the companies that I'm linking with. From Kylo with sunglasses to training aids of putting edge as well, swing play. So I can keep listening, but the main focus is the fact that yeah, there's companies that I'd like to work with, and then I promote their stuff, which is great. So I'll be doing that more in terms of the affiliate element. But for me, like I find it interesting because I've got an amazing group that I coach currently on Skillest, and I want to grow different arms of my business from YouTube. I mentor coaches as well, how to coach online, which is giving back, yeah, which is awesome. I mean, I'm applying for, I went through the thing within the PGA and it says I tick the boxes for being a master professional. So I'm going to apply for that. You never know. I might get it, or I might get an advanced coach. You never know. But regardless, my level will increase because I haven't got the accreditation that side of it, even though I'm currently there.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. So as you say, leaning into those partnerships, and it sounds like you're very much just helping, like giving back to the golfing community, as you say,
100%.
making sure you can get those brands up and running, using your platform to do the same thing, and then
Yeah.
just increasing, even helping out with other coaches in the sector. Because the thing with golf, much like anything within fitness, people are very good at what they do, but that business side of it doesn't come as natural to
No,
everybody. So it's nice that you can, as you say, provide mentorships and just help other people grow their own coaching company in the same way. That's a really cool.
without that.
And
Yeah.
where are you probably finding the biggest challenge for yourself at the moment, like within taking those steps or even within the current business?
I always say that on those ones there is that like you need a team. Like without a doubt, like you cannot do it yourself. I would say like I'm right into that cusp of expanding the team.
Yeah.
So like I do loads myself, and there is a delegation element. There's trust as well. I got burnt last year where I spent a few thousand trying to create a platform, and then fortunately somebody then dropped out just when I needed it to go push forward. So it's not stopped me. It's just set me back just for that little moment in that element. But I'm well aware that, like, in terms of, say, a video editor, a setter for those sort of messages, so you got to expand the team. And that comes from fitness person. I'm a mental game coach, look at nutrition, all these different things. So the more people you got around you, the better off people that I have in my community are going to be.
Yeah, 100%. As you say, you're helping your clients, but also you're saving yourself some time so you can focus on what you need to do. Because, like,
Yeah,
naturally, again, with golf, you're trading your time for money. So it's nice to bring other people in just to help with some of those jobs.
yeah,
And as you say, on your way up, it's not, again, it can be a lonely place as a founder. So just having support on the other end of that as well can be a really cool aspect. And
yeah.
Ian, I have one final question to ask you. So if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you say to yourself?
Yeah, what would I say to myself? Goodness me, I'll give you a kick up the no. So in terms of obviously that one there, I would say I reached my goals. I genuinely I did. I had a purpose, I had a goal to, and I achieved it. I just reassessed when I got there.
Yeah.
So I would say don't be afraid to have a goal. When you reach it, it doesn't mean that's it. So this is genuine. Like, you can reach your goals and then reassess when you're there. Is this your life? Is it your life? Have you fulfilled all of the things that you wanted to do? As I did, I got there and I very quickly realized that this is not my life. And then, so I always would say that people are always afraid they get comfortable. And I had 3 children, and I handed my notice in without a job to go to. So that unfortunately is not something that everybody has. They don't have the same drive. So I knew that I'd be absolutely fine because I've got that personality. But I would say that if for somebody else doing it, like, I achieved my goal, so I couldn't say that was a bad thing. Could I maybe have reassessed? Probably not, because I needed to cut my cloth in a sense of learn my trade.
Yep.
And then adapt from there. So I would just say, don't get complacent, always trying to improve in some shape or form.
I love that. And I feel that's that sporting mindset coming into play, because it
Yeah.
relates to every aspect of life, but you don't
Yeah.
see that until you are within, as you say, achieving your goals. And then when you get to that goal, where can we go now, and move on from there? Really cool
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
Ian, thank you so much for
Welcome.
joining me today and for sharing your
Thanks for
incredible
having me.
journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
Yeah, so if you want to get taught by me, hit me up on Skillest. I'm the only Ian Lodine in the world, so it's quite an easy one. But otherwise, you can connect with me there on. I'm on all the socials: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Apart from that, yeah, I love just speaking to people, interacting with my posts, and hopefully I provide entertainment through the social channels as well.
Love it stuff. And yeah, I'm sure you do. And Ian, thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate your time today. And to
Welcome.
our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Ian Lodine. As he said, he's all over socials: Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please go drop him a message. It's Ian, the English way of spelling it, or maybe the Scottish way,
Scottish.
Ianiain.
Yeah, yeah. I've been
Anyone
fighting for
listening?
that extra eye my whole life.
Yeah, Ian is what we're going to call him. But yeah, thank you again. Please go drop him a message. I'm sure he'd love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing, and we will see you on the next one.